What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about overcoming the feeling of being left behind as an entrepreneur. Now, this comes from today's wave of social media presence and the wave of marketers, right? Social media ads that are pushed out there, they're always telling us that we're not doing enough. We need to be further along. We need to be living a better life. We need to be making more money, all these different types of things that make us feel like we're being left behind in this game of being an entrepreneur. Now, one of the things that I want you to understand is that this is an external pressure that is being put on you, and mentally, we have to be strong enough to overcome this. Because when you really think about it, when we were little kids, we did not care about anything. We freely spoke our minds. We were free to wear what we want, do what we want, act the way that we want. And then at some point in time, that changes, where suddenly you start worrying about what car you drive, the jewelry that you have, what brand you're wearing, what you do, right? Who you hang out with. All these types of things change us, and we start caring about what other people think. And what's crazy about that is in reality, you shouldn't care about that at all. You shouldn't care about what so-and-so is doing in comparison to what you're doing, because comparison is the thief of joy. And listen, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this topic, okay? Because I'm not. And quite frankly, that's why today's video is even being shot, because I just kind of had a moment last weekend where it was Father's Day, and, it's supposed to be like my day. Family's going to take me out, treat me, make me feel special. And, I kind of just wanted to relax. I'd had a long week. I just recorded 5 straight days of being live during acquisitions week. And it was Sunday, and it was like, hey, let's just chill and relax. Well, the problem sometimes when you chill and relax is you struggle relaxing, because you start thinking about all of these things like, why am I tired? Why haven't we made more money? Why aren't we more successful? Why is so-and-so looking like they're doing so much better than what we're doing? And what's funny about that is when you really start thinking about it, we have no idea where these other people are in their journey. See, social media is a snapshot of what someone is going through. Like, for example, on my social media, I do a ton of reels where I am talking to a seller. And a lot of those reels, we get condensed down to 45 seconds, 50 seconds, and it's me closing a deal. And someone might watch that and be like, dude, RJ, all he does is just close deals, close deals, close deals. And what they don't see is that came from an 8-hour video where there was 7 hours and 45 minutes of me not closing deals. And then there was a 15-minute close that got condensed down to 45 seconds. Then that snapshot could make you feel like, man, I'm just not as good of a closer as RJ. But the reality is there was 7 hours and 45 minutes of me getting my teeth kicked in to get to that 15 minutes that then got condensed down to 45 seconds. And that's kind of how all social media is, right? A lot of times people leverage social media to sell something, and they want to tell you about the positives. And I'm not saying we don't do the same thing, right? I mean, that's just part of brand awareness. That's part of marketing. It's what we're supposed to do. Now, we try to also show the negative side of, what we do just as much, the work that has to go in, the grind that we have to go through to get to those results. Hence why, using this analogy, hey, I show a lot of those 8-hour lives to get to that one closing. All right. But a lot of times people just see that snapshot. And instead of looking at that and learning what the words I use, the body language, the tonality, the closer's formula, things like that, what they see is an opportunity to compare themselves to me and then say, well, I'm just not there yet. Well, let me explain something. It took a long time to get here. It's taken a decade to get to where we are today. And it's still not perfect. There's still a lot of things that we have to work on internally as a business. And there's things that I have to overcome mentally. Just like I said, just last weekend, I was having some of those feelings of like, I wish I was further along in the game. Now, what's funny about that is that when we say that, we always have this feeling of like, when we get there, we will be happy. But a lot of times we don't even know what there is. I'll use an example of this. Back when we first got started wholesaling, we had a property under contract in Dallas, Texas, and we assigned it for a $27,000 assignment fee. Now, at the time, that was going to be the largest assignment fee that we had ever had. It was also going to be the largest amount of money in one single time in my life that I had received. And I remember telling myself, like literally in my mind, these weren't words that were spoken. When we receive that $27,000, I will never have to worry about having financial issues again. And the reason why I felt that way is because one, I had never had $27,000 before. And two, I had no idea how quickly I could spend $27,000 because I never had that before. So it was almost impossible for me to even comprehend spending that kind of money. And so it was like, we now understand how to do this. And so once we've got that nest egg, we'll be able to keep going and we won't have to look back. Now, granted, we never looked back from that moment and we did continue, but it's not like we've never not worried about finances. There's totally been times where we've been dead broke since that moment for various different reasons. And now it's not uncommon for me to spend $27,000 in a day with overhead, labor, payroll, expenses, all the things that we have going on. But back then, that was an impossibility. There was no way. That $27,000, that was there. And then when I got there, I realized this isn't there. And a lot of times we just keep telling ourselves, if we get there, then I'll be happy. Then I will have made it. The other problem with that is every time you level up, you always realize there's another level to the game. And as an entrepreneur, a lot of us struggle with, hey, where we are today, embracing that moment and being happy with it. It's like the POD song. The top of every mountain is the bottom of another, right? I love that line because I literally have lived that over the past 14 years as an entrepreneur, where it's like, all right, here's the top of the mountain. And as soon as we get there, I realize, well, this is not where I want to be and sustain here. There's another level to this, and there's another level. And we continue to see, and as social media has really just taken over, right? I mean, to be honest with you, I try to drown out a lot of the noise. As funny as that is with me posting this video on social media, I try to drown out as much of it as possible because I've realized it has more of a negative impact on me than a positive impact. Whereas some of these stories of people succeeding should inspire me, there's a human nature to being frustrated about, hey, I've been doing this for 14 years and seeing someone be further along in the game in 5 years. Here's the thing. You don't know if that person is happy. You don't really know if you're being left behind there, okay? You're just looking at that snapshot. And you're saying, in this snapshot, it seems like they're further along. And of course, if they're further along, they must be happy. But that's not the case. That's not how it actually works, right? There's so many different reasons as to why you are where you are. And one of the things that I look at is like, hey, I have non-negotiables in my life that I refuse to make a sacrifice for, right? I'm not going to sacrifice time with my children to be further along in my entrepreneurial journey. I have had people in my life, in my business, they've given me a hard time about this. Like, hey, RJ, I get it, man. Your kid plays travel hockey and you want to be there for every single game and go on every out of town, every out of state travel tournament. But every now and then you could sacrifice one of those. No, that's a non-negotiable. Now, if I were sacrificing those moments, those memories, and that like piece of happiness in my life, yeah, maybe I would be further along in the journey, but that wouldn't be creating more joy and more happiness for me. So you have to really sit down and kind of analyze where you are in your journey and some of the decisions that you make. And maybe that's impacting why you are where you are. Okay. Now, the other thing is like there's classic examples of this. Apple in 1997 versus Microsoft. Apple wasn't even in the game. Microsoft was so far ahead. And then over the long haul, Apple has now surpassed Microsoft. Another example, Amazon not being profitable for the first 20 years. Now Amazon is just, everyone uses Amazon almost on a daily basis, right? So there's things where like wherever you are today does not inevitably like spell out what your legacy is going to be. And as an entrepreneur, a lot of us, we use that word legacy as like a key factor in what we're trying to create, right? We're trying to change the trajectory of our family, leave a legacy, leave a legacy for our children to take over. Okay. Wherever you are today doesn't mean that's the legacy that you're leaving behind. What you need to be focused on is being 1% better every single day. Win today. What can you do today to make yourself and your business and your team better? And realistically, decide like, what does happiness look like in my life? Like actually have that conversation with yourself, because quite frankly, a lot of us, we don't. We sit there and we want to create goals for ourselves, like revenue goals and profit goals. And this is how many deals I want to do on a monthly basis or an annual basis. But are we actually thinking about if that would make us happy? Is that going to eliminate the feeling of being left behind in your entrepreneurial journey? Think about those things for a second and say, what do I want from this? This is why our slogan and our motto here at Titanium is create your own reality. Not the reality that RJ wants for you, but the reality that you want for your life, and go create that reality. Because quite frankly, all of us have different desires and different things that we want on a daily basis in the end goal. And where is there? When I say if I make it there, then I'll be happy, then I'll be satisfied, then I'll feel like I've accomplished something. Well, along the whole way, you might be accomplishing amazing things, but you go see a rock star on social media and you think to yourself, man, I'm so far behind in this game. I had to get a reminder this week from my team, Nick, Sema, and Cassie, where they're like, RJ, we are literally changing people's lives. There are people in our community right now that are making life-changing money. And I'm feeling like I'm left behind, like I'm not doing enough. This is me succumbing to the pressures of society nowadays, where I should be embracing the fact that I am in one of the best stretches of my career ever, where we have found a rhythm as a team, where I am now sitting in my seat of power, and I get to sit here and say, here's what you could do to go create your own reality. And then I'm somewhat feeling left behind. I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough because I'm falling to the pressures of marketers and social media. It's inexcusable. We should be better than that. We should be better. We should be stronger mentally. And so that's why I want to come here today, because listen, the videos about how to acquire deals and how to comp and underwrite deals and how to dispo deals, those are all important. Those are tactical things. But you know what can kill a tactical thing inside of your business is if you're not mentally in the game, if you're not mentally prepared to lead your business. Even if you're a solopreneur, you are still the leader of your business. And you have to be mentally checked in and understand where you are leading that business. Now, one of the other things is that over the years, me and Cassie have struggled with family supporting us. And part of that is because we're the crazy ones. We're the entrepreneurs. And I think a lot of you guys as entrepreneurs can understand this, where people in your life will say, I don't understand why you're making the sacrifice. Why do you work those long hours? I thought the reason why you were an entrepreneur is so you could have freedom of time, right? We loosely throw that around. And then it's like that can be mentally crushing to you because you look on social media, you compare yourself, which again, remember, comparison is the thief of joy. You compare yourself to your colleagues and your competition, and you say they're so much further along. And then you've got your family over here saying, yeah, but I thought you do this for freedom of time. And I thought we were supposed to have all this money. You could have just gotten a job and worked 9 to 5, and we would be in a better spot than we are right now. And you get frustrated and you're like, my competition's leaving me behind and my family's not supporting me. I know for a fact that so many of you are dealing with this right now. One thing, it's your job to cast a vision of what you want to the support system that you have, your family, the ones closest to you, your friends. Cast that vision to them and explain to them what you're trying to accomplish. So along the way, they understand those sacrifices that you're making, the long hours, why you're working those, why you choose to go into the office every single day, why you choose crazy things like, hey, I'm going to create a long form YouTube video every single day of the year in 2024. And they look at you and go, but why? RJ, you don't have to do that. And then I cast a vision why I want to do that and why I want to impact as many people's lives as possible. Because a decade ago, virtual wholesaling saved my life. It's now created that freedom for me to be there and to support my kids and to afford putting my kid into travel hockey and taking him all across the country so he can live out his dreams. And my daughter can do competition dance and she can go out and live her dreams and whatever she wants to do, because that truly brings me happiness and joy, and be like, hey, I'm the dad that is giving them what they want. There is nothing more that I love than spending a Saturday morning either watching my daughter dance or my son play travel hockey. Nothing brings me more joy than that. And what enables that? Me being an entrepreneur, me being able to create my own reality as an entrepreneur, not sitting there and comparing myself to my competition or my colleagues. It's showing up every single day and saying, how can I win today? How can I be 1% better? That is what makes me be able to create that reality for myself, for everyone else on my team, and for my family. And because I cast that vision to them and I explain to them, hey, this is why I make a sacrifice on a random Tuesday. Maybe I can't get home till 7:30 at night on a Tuesday. But by God, I promise you, Saturday morning, I'll be up at 5:30 in the morning and we'll have our ass wrapped up in blankets and hoodies in the ice rink at 6:30 in the morning, because that's what we want to do, baby. And we've got the opportunity because we went out, we created it, and we ignore the comparisons, and we don't feel left behind along the way, because no one is going to write my story except for myself. That's the benefit of being an entrepreneur. You write your own story. You go out and you create your own reality, and don't fall into these feelings of being left behind. That is a snapshot, and I can promise you, the people that you think are going out there and crushing it and are super happy with what they want, there is a strong possibility that they are miserable with their existence because they have fallen to this. They're pushing for something. They're going to get there, and they don't even know where there is. So don't fall into that game. Don't fall into that bullshit in 2024. Sit there and focus on yourself, what you want, what is truly going to make you happy. Be 1% better every single day. Show up and win those days. Focus on yourself. Focus on creating that reality that you want to be happy, and no one can take that away from you, no matter what. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure to give me a like. I appreciate you guys so much. We're almost halfway through the year, baby. We're almost halfway through the year. Make sure you're not comparing yourself to your competition and your colleagues, okay? Make sure you're only running that race to create your own reality. We'll see you guys tomorrow.